discipleship get misinterpreted, and if so, in what way?
Yeah, discipleship gets misinterpreted as catechism and learning and getting right beliefs, which there are wrong beliefs, and learning and education. This is part of it, but it's really just been more in recent years and I guess centuries that education became just a mental thing. Education has historically always been about what you do with your body. It's how to be human as human is meant to be. It's about how do you navigate life and the world and what it means to be human without hurting yourself and others and finding some kind of wholeness. So I think, especially as it pertains to Christianity in the church, the way it gets jacked up is when discipleship is primarily about your belief system and holding right beliefs. And so what we've come to say at Redemption is that Christianity is not a belief system. It's really not. It is supposed to be a whole new way to be a human being that is constituted more by practices, not beliefs. And so as Christians, discipleship is a lot about looking at the habits and rhythms and practices of our life and intentionally establishing rhythms and practices that are humanizing to us. And we have a great set of them in Christianity and our tradition. So like the fundamental ones we talk about a lot are baptism and communion. Those are the sacramental practices. And then there's like weekly worship and some sort of daily prayer. So you do one corporately, weekly worship, and daily prayer is typically scattered. So weekly worship, daily prayer. Then there's the practice of Sabbath keeping, where we take one day just to play, just to delight like a free human being, and just only do things that bring us joy and pleasure and delight. And then tithing is subversive of a culture of capitalistic consumerism and kind of late stage capitalism that puts a value on everything, transfers all that value to those at the top on the shoulders of those at the bottom. Sabbath keeping is deeply subversive kind of to that empire mindset. And community and solitude are two other practices where we have to have relationships and be in community where we can tell the truth about our lives and do life together. But then there's also the need for solitude and silence and times to kind of go inward and think about our life and try to find a space, a reverence for God and a place to interact with God. And then the last pair that we talk about are peacemaking and solidarity with the outcasts. By peacemaking, what we mean is most people go and they find the other in whatever term that means, like the geopolitical other, the religious other, the relational, whatever, political other. Most people, what they see the other as problematic and as either a problem to be solved or as something to be distanced, or at least for some good boundary to be maintained between me and the other. And I think the practice of peacemaking is not holding something at arm's length and establishing it as an other. And it's not like moving close to attack and destroy. Peacemaking is to move close with peacemaking, move close with an attempt to somehow find belonging.
You mentioned empire. Can you talk a little bit about what that has to do with discipleship?
Yeah, so empire is Walter Brueggemann calls it a totalism. What he means by totalism is outside, when you're living within an empire, it's impossible to imagine life outside the empire. They dominate your imagination. They hand you a script, tell you what to think. The empire's job is to make you think the way things are is the way they have to be. That's it. That's empire. It defines, like in our day, it defines your worth as a person by what you can produce and what you can conspicuously consume. And that is the meaning of your life. That is your value to society. How much do you produce in terms of wealth and money and status, and how conspicuously can you leverage that for social cred or whatever. And it's just a really terrible story. And we don't realize it's weighing down us all the time, and it's controlling us and telling us what to do and what to think. And like another, Walter Brueggemann says that's the American script, and it promises to make us safe and happy. And it's a failed script. It just, we are so not safe, and we are definitely not happy. And so like, we're trying to find a better story, that one that can make us safe and happy. And empire is not that. The problem is, most American Christianity is the faith of empire. It's civil religion of empire. It's been completely co-opted. And so, I mean, there's a reason we're a dinky little church in a left behind neighborhood. This is not like what everybody wants or what everybody has been shaped to think or hear. Like, I think one of the problems with the church right now is that we no longer embody an alternative way of life to the dominant culture. We're no different, and in some ways we're just a lot worse because we're more hypocritical. And the only real difference is that in our part of the consumer culture, we try to give our money to Christians. I don't think that's nearly enough. I think God is always down and in the midst of life with us. And that if we don't have a genuine alternative to empire and to a failed script, we got nothing. And the only way to that, I think, is habits and rhythms and practices that bring us alive.